Hi everyone, nice audience here. So what I will talk today is a journey, and I will use a compilation of case studies on innovation and creative synergies. I always start my presentation showing the aerial view of the places where I live most: Italy, United States, and Japan. Of course, as you can imagine, each country has a different culture, different lifestyle, and you can imagine that to go from one place to the other is pretty complex to adjust, especially to find an hair dryer, a barbershop. Thank you, Pam, to remind that. And in fact, I wanted to show some case study of the cultural difference. And when I moved to Japan, I went to a barbershop. I had the hairs longer than now, and I went there. Everybody was bowing. So I would like to have a small cut. Means cut just a bit. I left over, and I was almost bald. And when I went back to the office, I said, "Why you cut the hair so short?" Because I don't speak Japanese. So that's just an example. But there is another example. I can talk about a lot of stuff when I moved to Los Angeles. Same things. I asked to some friends, "Where's a good barbershop?" "Oh, there is that one. It's very trendy." I went to that one. I enter inside. They offer me a glass of wine. Beautiful, wonderful experience. And then I arrive with the scissors. Ta-ta! You are perfect. When he showed me the check, I said, "Wow, quite expensive glass of wine." So anyway, it's very complex. I sympathize with that. So different cultures, different places, different experience. But I learn. I feel contaminated. I learn from all of them, and I respect all of them. But let's see where I'm coming from. It means I grew most of my time in Florence, Italy. You can see the aerial views, the roofs, and you see some black spots there. Those are the Italian Square. The Italian Square, it's the best classroom for Italian students. You go to school, you learn something, but where you learn most, it's in those squares. I don't know if some of you experience some exchange programs. What you do, you experience, you are involved, immersed in a lot of experience. You are immersed, surrounded by beauty. You see the architecture, you see display, you see the people, everything. It's a feast of emotion. And the other interesting thing that for tourists, the square can be a place where you go to see the monuments. For Italian, it's a meeting point. So the kids, after school, go to the piazza, and after the experience, whatever the experience, they exchange opinion, they talk, they dream, they brainstorm. And this is what I consider very important. It's not good just for designers, because part of this are part of the design process, but it's good for everyone. So it's not a coincidence that, in Florence you can find about 35 American programs in the spring between 4,000 and 5,000 American students, because that's an experience that can benefit any kind of people, doctors, designers, artists, human beings in general. What I learned from that experience, sharing experience with students, then I applied to a design school. And I was lucky enough to have as more than professor, I call a mentor, Paolo Bettini, that is in this cover. There was an architect. He's still an architect, he's still alive. So a more humanistic education, more humanistic approach. And from him, I learned a few things. First of all, he was pushing a lot the critical thinking, more than skills, ideas, inspirations, and to be passionate, open-minded, to push the boundaries, extremely important. And this is what I consider very important, things that I learned from him. in addition to the skills, he was not pushing much the skills, but I think that the skills are very important, and this is a message for the students. So learn the skills as much as you can if you don't want to suffer for a lot after graduation. And he also was pushing the design process, to build a strong design process. If you have the critical thinking, if you have idea, if you have the skills, and you have a strong process, you can apply wherever you like in every field. That can be product, that can be transportation, that can be interior graphic or whatever. Another things that I learned, that you can learn design working on different subjects. I was in his class about 30 years ago in the design school. At that time, everybody was learning industrial design through toasters, hair dryer. Is this familiar? So he said, you know, you can do other stuff. And he was pushing us to think differently, and he was pushing us to participate to competition, to expose our work as much as possible. And then we started to have some kind of recognitions, and we were starting to be invited to exhibitions. After exhibitions, we create some successful products, and we were on the cover of Domus magazine, and this was in '82. There is a red circle. You can probably recognize me when I have longer hair, less weight. And the women in the middle, it's with the red skirt, sweatshirt, it's Maria Luisa Rossi. That it's my partner since then. It's also my wife, colleague now. She's the chair of MFA Design at the College for Creative Studies. So this is talking about creative fusion and synergy. This is a pretty good example, and also long-lasting. Another interesting thing, work on different subjects, and very often not just on product, but scenarios, to eventually develop new typology of product that don't exist yet. Let's see some projects, what we did, what I did, and I will show one of these. Anybody's familiar with this? Nobody? That's good. One. Oh yeah. So this is following and working together with this mentor, we developed this my thesis degree, and this is a wearable computer. Wearable computer was designed in 1984, so you can recognize the computer bottom left, that when you use, you can perceive the keyboard display. When you don't use, instead to put in the wallet, you put in you wear on the body as a jewels. This was my thesis. In this case, I was a kind of project managing directors. I managed a team of friends to accomplish this result. That, I can say, was published so many times, about, I counted 70 times all around the world, and in a way it was an icon and a sort of inspiration for Design Research Center for a while. The approach that we learned working with this was also the importance of media, and because doing conceptual work is not that you find producer, manufacturer, but you need a different kind of validation, so the publication can be good things. What we learn with this mentor, we apply in so many things in our career, so I will skip a lot, and I will show you one of the projects that we have done in a completely different field, that is interior. And this restaurant was done many years in Japan, and same things, you know, to work as a design director, building relation with people, building creative synergy, and to always try to create those synergy with the best of the best manufacturer, the best furniture maker, the best contractor, the best photographer, to accomplish some results. And in this case, you know, to make a long story short, we got so many publications, so many covers on different countries. And one of them happened 80 years after. There is one that's called Best Bar and Restaurant Design. that was on the cover of a magazine 8 years after the project was done. So I think it was a great accomplishment. This was one of the biggest projects that we have done. Then I started to be more involved with education. And I was lucky to teach in different places, in Japan, Italy, Art Center, before in Switzerland, then in Pasadena, and now at CCS, where I'm the chair. So I'm very proud to work in education, to work with students. It's always stimulating, and was refreshing. After the success that we accomplished at a young age, we were ready for, and I was ready for a new challenge. And this is why I like to work with the students, because every time it's something new and unexpected. So in education, that you also need stimulus. What will happen? We have, I was lucky to work at Center and CCS. They are two outstanding institutions. So what you do in education? How you judge the value of the programs? Job placement, relation with the industry, internships, competition, facility. I think that at CCS we are doing well in all those areas. We have an incredible number of sponsors, incredible facility. In the photo there in the left, you can see the second campus. It's a building that was donated by General Motors 3 years ago. It's 750,000 square feet. It's an amazing facility. This is on top of the campus we already have. Success of the students, competition. By coincidence, recently I received an email. You are tagged. Facebook, you are tagged. So every time I receive one of those, I'm scared because the worst can happen. Fortunately, it was not too bad. I was stuck, and the students post that image. We're here in Chicago in 1999. I was working at Art Center, and Art Center won 3 golds out of 4, and I was involved in 2 of those projects, so the students want to have me on stage, and it was a great gratification. If we think of the number of competition, if we think that IDA Awards is a standard, I think that we are also doing pretty good, because last year CCS won 2 golds and was the only institution in the country to win 2 golds. On the right, you can see Detroit in Overdrive. It's a small series done by Discovery Channel on Detroit, and our students were part of that. So our students were also part of that billboard. So things are going very well, but again, I'm interested by different challenge. I'm interested to educate students that create an impact. So I try to understand, going back to the past, what happened to the students that were working on an unusual project in my class. Let's start with this. Thomas Meyerhofer. Anyone is familiar with Thomas? Good, 1. So Thomas was in my class in 1990, and he developed this project. It's a workstation. While he was doing his research, he went into an art gallery, he sit on and there was a kind of installation. There was a chair in a very unbalanced situation. So he sits on that chair, and while I was sitting, he realized that his attention, his focus was at the highest level. So he decided to bring the same feeling in a workstation to work in an unbalanced situation where the concentration can be higher and the work can be done in a shorter period. Oh yeah. This is the type of the project that not every faculty can accept, but I'm very proud of this. So, but anyway, what happened is a kind of seed that happened. So you can see that you also start to work on some translucent plastic near the head. And then he was very interested in this. And then what happened during the years? He continued to work on this. He was hired in a consultancy, and then he was hired by Apple. When I went to visit him at Apple, he showed me a lot of material examples, very colorful. and told me, Vincenzo, I'm doing computer using this material. Here we are. In 1997, he created the eMate for Apple. What happened after that? He was not part of Apple anymore, but iMac was created, and then after that, you see what happened. So I think that in some way he was part of the process. Let's see another project. Workshop, 2 weeks workshop on wearable technology. I work with this group of students, and one of the students developed the phone tooth. Sometimes also the students are stretched too much. They don't believe that there's a good things. But anyway, this guy from Italy will stay here a couple of weeks. Then he will leave. He will give us a grade. We will not put in the portfolio. It's good. But what I was telling, it's also important to have a validation. Validation arrived 7 years after, when Time magazine published the 2002 best invention, and there is a phone tooth done by others, 100% the same, I can tell you. So this is important to be part of this kind of things. Let's go closer time. Have you ever seen this project? Veronica Scott developed this at the College for Creative Studies last year. It was a project on social responsible design. She worked in a deep research with homeless people, and she finalized this project as a blanket sleeping bags for homeless people. At the end of the semester, I continued to work with homeless people, and she built the Empowerment Plan. It's a non-profit organization where she's hiring homeless people to manufacture these blanket sleeping bags and then distribute to homeless people. Veronica is everywhere. She was on CNN Live last year, and since then you have seen on the billboards. New York Times, the 1st of March this year, dedicated her 1 pages. She's all over the places, and she's doing extremely well. Another interesting case study, it's Alan McDonald. In one of my class, developed these educational tools to bring education where resources are limited. He was student select, the best students of the department in 2008. Probably there are some classmates here. They are not here. There is one. So after that, he joined the Peace Corps, and where he was working, adopting the design process to improve the life of marginalized people. There, he worked 3 years in Panama, and he created latrine with a lot of features. I will not go through all of them. But anyway, the most important, they reduced using appropriate construction methods. They were common there, locally appropriate. It reduced the cost from $400 to $130. The other project that he worked on was aqueduct expansion. And he was also involved with fundraising when he was coming here to US. And as a result, there is these tanks that contain 10,000 liters of water, and he also built a 100 meters bridge. But talking about playing, that was nice that we were talking about this before. There was a friend of him, they saw a movie, and there was a guy that was water skiing. He said, Alan, what is that? Water skiing. Can we do that? No, we cannot, because it's very expensive. Why not? Using a chainsaw and simple tools, they did the skis. Alan's crew, boots on the ski, and you can see him testing. This for me was beautiful, and this is what the design should do. When we should know the people, we should understand the needs, and we should try to help them to accomplish dreams. This for me was amazing. So he just finished the 3 years program, and he's looking for a job, by the way. So if there are someone that is involved, it's a very good students, and I can give him the address. Just the last thing that is happening, and then this is talking about creative synergy. Everything is going well. Students are going well. There is one problem. After they learn the skills and they go out for internship, they come back to school and they think that the school is a very boring place. So I'm never bored when I'm there, but they are. So I think there is a problem that as a design I'm trying to solve. I'm inspired by a lot of things. I was thinking of the Italian piazza. I had these images of some good piazza, but then someone else came to help us. It's the Henry Ford Hospital that is very close to us. Walking distance, 2 minutes. So we start a partnership with them, and our students can work on medical equipment. They have full access to the hospital. They can go to see any kind of surgery. They can do whatever and develop medical devices. And this is what's happening. It's a long-lasting relation. I will show only one project. It's a student that developed a surgical robotic system, but the variety, because they have full access to the hospital, so they can really walk there, talk with anyone, identify the needs, and to have the support to eventually present and eventually manufacture. In addition to this, Henry Ford created Henry Ford Innovation Institute, and we are part of this synergy that include College for Creative Studies, Wayne State University College of Engineering, Smart Sensor Integrated Microsystems. So it's a collaboration between different institutions. And this is very nice environment that is very interesting. So to finish my presentation, I still I think that this creative synergy with them it's outstanding, and for a few reasons. First of all, because I think that our students have the possibility to eventually have something and can give a support to medical experience, medical solution in healthcare, and eventually improve the quality of human health. Second, because according to expectation, and I'm pretty sure that will happen, this will give a great contribution to revitalize and diversify the economy in the Detroit region. But there is something else. In this space, I met doctors, nurses, engineers, inventors, medical students, engineer students, city planner, an astronaut, few inventors. And this is the closest things that I experienced to the Italian square. And this place, I think, is magic. And I'm pretty sure that the opportunities offered to us and to our students will help to better educate the new generation of our students, bridging the gap between traditional education methods and dynamic design configurations to better respond to the changing market demands. Thank you.